So we have some updates to go over, a few that came out yesterday, and I'm making a video about a day later. But I want to go over some of the things that came out yesterday. And first off, we'll talk about the signing that happened. The Packers, according to Packers.com, signed an offensive lineman to the practice squad. It says here from the Packers website. The Green Bay Packers signed offensive lineman Michael Jordan to the practice squad and released tackle Spencer Rowland from the practice squad. The transactions were announced Monday by general manager Brian Gutekunst. And Michael Jordan, who is now added to the Packers, he was with the Packers last season, spent most of the year on the practice squad, and then this season, he started 11 of 12 games for the Patriots at left guard. Then he got released, signed back to their practice squad, and was released in the past week or so. And so right now, the Packers, when we look at the offensive line, Jordan Morgan is currently on the IR. He could potentially be activated sometime soon. And, with Sean Ryan going down the other day for a few snaps, maybe it was like 8 or so snaps, Kadeem Telfort came in to play right guard. And so it looks like the Packers just wanted to add some more depth here on the interior of the offensive line. And looking at Michael Jordan, he was drafted in the 2019 draft in the 4th round. And then, as I said, he spent this season with the Patriots, last year with the Packers practice squad. And he does have a good amount of experience. He has played in 67 games with 40 starts. And so he's a guy who's, been in the NFL for now about, 5 years or so. When you look at his PFF grades, not the greatest. I think that, when you look at the Patriots offensive line this season, it hasn't been that good. And so I don't think it's a great sign that he was released from the Patriots, but he does at least have some experience. And so the Packers have an experienced offensive lineman now in the practice squad. And if they ever decide that they, need to bring him up to the practice squad, they have another guy there they can potentially rely on. And now I want to go over a few different injury updates that came out in a Matt LaFleur press conference. And I'm looking over right now a little review from Packers Wire written by Zach Kruse. And there are a few quotes here. First off, he says, on safety, Javon Bullard, who is dealing with an ankle injury. Quote here from Matt LaFleur. I would say it's more week to week. So Javon Bullard, who left the game this past week, he was seen on crutches after the game. And so anytime, coach says week to week, much different than day to day. And so it could be a few weeks before we see Javon Bullard back. And that's already adding on to the injuries in the secondary with Jair Alexander, who has missed a few games with his PCL knee injury. We don't know how long he's going to be out. Now Javon Bullard could potentially miss a couple weeks possibly. And Evan Williams left the game against Detroit as well at safety. It says here on the site, on safety, Evan Williams, who suffered a concussion in Detroit, quote, he is in the protocol right now, end of quote from Matt LaFleur. And so Evan Williams could potentially miss this game against the Seahawks, which if Bullard and Jair can't go, that's, 3 of the Packers' 5 secondary players. Luckily, Xavier McKinney is healthy, as well as Keyshawn Nixon. So the Packers are getting pretty thin in the secondary, and I think it's one of their weaknesses right now. I think when they're fully at full strength with Jair there, that they have a pretty solid secondary, but with Jair out, hurts a lot. Now without Williams, without Bullard, it's not a great situation for the Packers in their secondary. And I think all we can hope is that by the time the postseason comes around, that this unit can be much healthier. Then on Romeo Doubs, who has been out with a concussion for the past week or so, or week or two. On if Romeo Doubs has cleared concussion protocol. Quote from LaFleur, he has not, end of quote. So Doubs still in concussion protocol. It's been a while now. He suffered the concussion on November 24th, so he may or may not get to play this week. Then it says here on Dontavian Wicks, LaFleur said he's fine. Then it also says here from Packers Wire, LaFleur didn't have an update or wasn't asked about cornerback Jair Alexander, linebacker Edgerrin Cooper, or cornerback Corey Ballantyne, who all missed last week's loss in Detroit. So that's sort of the updates right now for those injured players. And tomorrow we'll have the first injury update of the week from Wednesday's practice, and we'll keep an eye on it as always throughout the week. And so if you want to see those updates, feel free to turn on post notifications so you don't miss any content. I appreciate you guys always tuning in and subscribing. So thank you as always, and I'll see you guys next time.